ask you to bring comfort as only you can. And Father, to bring quick healing to those that are in the hospital and fighting this situation. And Father, as we watch the evil in the world, please help us to remember that your grace abounds so much more, and that you've commanded us to walk in love. And Father, I ask you to direct the council and the mayor as they do the city's business. It is in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, I need a motion on the work session minutes for October the 17th.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. All in favor, raise your hand.
4 with Mr. Lyon abstaining. That's the majority of the ones we got present.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Need a motion on the regular council meeting minutes for the October 17th meeting.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
4 with Mr. Lyons abstaining.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, you're up.
Well, thank you. We've got a few items, but I want to start with one that, you know, they all saying bitter, sweet, but we got some real bitter, but just a little bit of sweet. And it's not that Susan Carmichael is bitter at all, but she is retiring for, I don't know, the second or third or fourth time along the way. Sometimes she's a city employee, sometimes she's an employee of the Clean City Commission. Susan, if you would come to the podium, this is about 40 years that she's been laboring in the vineyard of Clean City. She started out in a previous administration as a recycling coordinator, and good Lord willing and Barry Crabb getting the job done, we might get in the recycling business before I die. And Susan, you started us on that, but the things that you've done, we're going to chronicle in a video for you. But the thing that I want to say how much I appreciate your efforts over the last particularly 2 years, because as you well know, we have had that initiative, litter initiative, that you came to my office and said, we got to do something. And we've taken almost 24,000 pounds of litter, and we paid 21 cents a pound to do that. And our city is a better looking city because of that, and we thank you. Now you're going to get embarrassed by this video, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to introduce your board and say whatever you want to, and invite everyone here after the city council meeting. We will have a reception for Suzanne upstairs in the mayor's conference room. If you've never seen the mayor's conference room, come on up, because there's going to be some really good food up there. All right, let the video roll.
Yeah, you know, to try and condense what Susan Carmichael has done in 42 years into a 20 or 30-second blurb is very difficult.
But I encountered Susan about 12 years ago at Head Start. She was one of the Clean City Commission tree ladies, and I was very interested in what she was doing back then. And I've soon found out that she is one that really works hard to supply you with the needs that she offers with the city of Montgomery.
I heard about Susan from Miss Watson. She came out to North Pass to help us to do the cleanup. That was such a blessing for us because we needed the cleanup, and she brought out all her machinery, and she was there helping us picking up the trash. So Susan, I want to congratulate you on your retirement, and may God bless you.
Just thank you, Susan, for so much, for all the many things you've done that most people wouldn't have wanted to do, but you saw as valuable because you were out there in the community making Montgomery better and bringing hope to people and giving people the support they needed to make their neighborhood better.
On behalf of everyone at Hansel River Region, I want to congratulate you, Susan, on your retirement, and thank you so much for all the many years you served as the first and only executive director of the Clean City Commission. Your commitment, your passion, your excitement has been contagious and will be sorely missed.
Susan is a jewel. She's so precious, a great friend of mine. Happy retirement, Susan. 42 years, I can't believe it. I'm a bit surprised that you've been at it 42 years. You look 42 years old. But she's been great. She's been a great friend, always sending out volunteers to work with us and coming out herself. She's a great manager, facilitator, and she's just been an incredible blessing and encouragement to us at House to House.
It is no secret that you've been able to lure in big bucks from foundations and organizations that issue grants that fight litter. It's also no secret that you've been able to successfully plant Montgomeryans on the national boards of organizations like Keep America Beautiful and other anti-litter fighting groups. But it may not be common knowledge about the extent to which you worked with every single city department to keep Montgomery litter free. If someone broke the law and was in trouble and needed to perform community service, Susan was willing to put them to work and wouldn't give them credit unless they actually did the work. When it was time to try to find ways to modify citizen behavior in a meaningful way, Susan met with the mayor and the police department to see if we could empower citizens to issue warrants if they saw people just throw litter on the streets. And if they did so in front of a police officer, Susan wanted police officers to have the authority to tase people with full zapping voltage for their crime. I'm just joking about that part. Susan never said she wanted that to happen.
And she's always stepped in and provided all of the equipment needed, and even gone to her on sometimes and saying, hey, I've got this going on in this community. Can you find a group to come out and clean up? And she's always pulled through and gone out and found a group to come in. While the average person may be looking and seeing this as, oh, they're cleaning up the neighborhood, well, it helps the overall quality of life issues and helps lower crime, which we all want.
Yeah, to try and condense what Susan Carmichael has done in 42 years into a 20 or...
Well, I thought that he was starting and finishing it. Can we show our appreciation for 42 years right here? Before she takes the microphone, the sweet part of this is a private citizen. She is being or has been appointed to the Clean City Commission. Now she will be in the supervisory advisory role to Amanda Miller. Amanda, if you'll stand, Amanda's the one that is taking her place, and she's already started. She's had a lot of note-taking over that period of time. So here's your public. You can practice your speech for later, or you can have two different speeches, but I know you want to recognize your family and your board members, because what she'll tell you is the success that she's had is because of those that work with her. Susan.
Thank you. Well, thank all of you. I appreciate the accolades and great video, didn't you think? I thought it was pretty funny. 42 years, a long time. I had a very long journey, and I worked with actually 4 mayors, believe it or not, and
Robinson, Palmer.
Robinson, Palmer.
5 because you had him.
Just a small part.
Oh, shortcut, excuse me, 5, okay, sorry. But many city councils throughout the 42 years. My staff has been just awesome. I have Leanne Franklin is back there, Cynthia Giancaterino. Our president is Christopher Turner, and he is back there as well. Could I have all the board members stand, because you kind of scattered around. I couldn't have done the job without them. We have so many projects. We have about 24 projects, and it takes a lot of volunteers. So if any of you out there want to help with the Clean City Commission projects, just give us a call. We are in the city directory, and we are willing and ready to take you on and teach you everything you need to know about the various projects we have. there's just so much that I could say over the past 42 years. Sorry. I've been fine up till now.
You want to think about it and
Yeah.
regroup upstairs? We've got a resolution that honors you, but I won't read it now. We'll do it upstairs as we have the official thank you. But I wanted to take this opportunity with the cameras rolling on our TV and also a chamber full with our city council to thank you for the great service that you've rendered and the great service you're going to continue to render.
I'll be out there all the time.
So we'll see you right after the city council meeting. Good.
Thank
you. We've got a house full of young ladies tonight. As you well know, we have a tradition of recognizing those state champions that we have. And each of the last 2 seasons, the Lady Trojans of St. James have advanced to the state championship finals in 4A volleyball. Each time they came back with second prize, the red runners-up trophy. This past season, the young ladies were filled with determination as they accomplished many individual and team milestones. Emily Poundstone achieved 2,000 assists of her athletic career. Carson Ann Crow recorded the 1,000th kill, it's in quotes, of her career, and the team delivered the 100th win under varsity coach Karen Lee. Last week in Birmingham, St. James again found itself vying for the state 4A championship, advancing to the title match without having dropped a single set throughout the tournament. Their opponent was from Tuscumbia Deshler High School, outscored the Trojans to win the first set that they had lost. Rather than lose their composure, St. James recouped under great leadership and won 3 straight sets to claim the 3rd volleyball state championship in school history and the first since 1903. Coach Karen Lee is here this evening, and so is the school's athletic director, Jerry Browning, the athletic trainer, Victoria Henderson, the principal, Dr. Brian Oliver, and head of school, Larry McLemore. And so if you will give these girls a rounding ovation, we're going to present Karen, if you would come on behalf of the citizens of Montgomery, congratulations on your 2017 Alabama High School Athletic Association Class 4A State Volleyball Championship. Your time, energy, dedication is evident as revealed in your stellar season. The team victory and accomplishments of individual members make you excellent representatives of our capital city. Our youth are a vital part of our future, and the guidance you have given your team will long benefit each of your student athletes on the field of competition and in other pursuits. Again, congratulations and best wishes for your next championship.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Karen.
I just want to say thank you to the city for recognizing us. Mayor Strange, thank you so much. Thank you to Dr. McLemore, Coach Browning, Dr. Oliver for being here tonight and supporting our girls. I just can't say enough about my girls. From July to November the 2nd, how much they put in time and dedication to the sport of volleyball as well as their academics. You know, they have such true grit and determination. I'm just very, very proud to be their coach and to have been part of this successful season. So, and I have my assistant with me too, Carissa Foy, too.
I think we
so,
have a
good deal.
civic for them. Karen, we'll step over here. Anybody in here want to get individual picture come to the front? We'll get a group picture after the individual with the city council, and then maybe Smith, unless you want to see Jim Governor.
Assistant Coach Carissa Foy.
Brian, Larry, and Francis, if y'all want to come forward, that's fine. Athletic director. This is the assistant coach. I'll bet you she wasn't set.
Freshman Marilee Kapoya. A junior, Alan Browning. Trinity Hunter. Emily Olsey. Ashley White.
Your niece? Congratulations, Ashley.
Bailey Williams. Kathleen Wright. A member of the All-State Tournament team with 16 kills, junior Liz Ann Livings.
I know that you have a father in the audience, Billy Livings. Will you go to the microphone and tell everybody what a kill is?
Really?
Yeah, right there.
A kill is when you hit it and they don't get the point and you get the point.
Another member of the All-State Tournament team with 21 assists, junior Emily Poundstone.
She sets it up.
The state tournament MVP with 21 kills and 16 digs, junior Carson Ann Crow.
When the other team hits it and then you pass it.
Dig it out.
Yes.
A lot of non-seniors coming back, so Coach Lee, we might see you here in another 12 months. Our seniors, Baylor Belledge.
Where's the senior Is that an offset?
Another senior, Caroline Christie. And our final senior has athletic giftedness all through her DNA. Her mom was a demon on the basketball court, but an angel on the WSFA anchor desk, senior Annie Skonecki.
Thank God we get through pretty fast.
Is Deanne Ackland in the, where's Deanne? There she is, come on down. Would you ride your bike on down here, please? Deanne Ackland is the bike lady. She came to us through, I guess, the military, and she took this town by storm with bicycles and bike trails and sharing the road and all that kind of stuff. Well, and she's been our conscience on biking and health, wellness, and things like that. But unfortunately, she's leaving. And the city, as well as the bicycling community, wanted to do something to thank her for what she has done and to wish her happy trails, as you see there. I am not going to read all of this because the reflection is really bad and she doesn't want it to get done. But whereas Deanne Ackland, an avid cyclist well known for her advocacy for biking and bicycle safety, has remained dedicated to her goal of encouraging more people in Montgomery and the River Region to get out and ride. The River Region's ride and bicycle infrastructure through public-private partnership was followed by Montgomery being recognized as one of the 2 bicycle-friendly communities in Alabama. And whereas through the dedication of individuals such as Deanne, biking will continue to bring people together, encourage discovery, and spur community recognition, as Deanne has pointed out. Whereas the city of Montgomery commends Deanna on her dedication to the River Region and her many contributions to the community. And while our city is saddened by her forthcoming departure, we realize a new community will benefit from her energy and her civic mindedness. And we are naming today Deanna Ackman Day. Congratulations and thanks. You don't know this, I don't think, but Michael came to our young millennials this morning at a breakfast, and he presented the idea about the renter bikes. And we're going to pursue that as some other cities have in some of our areas. So we're going to continue your memory, and I'll bet you one of those stands is going to be named for you along the way.
Thank you, Mayor Strange, just for your continued support always of May is Bike Month and also promoting bicycling as a healthy way of living. There's been so many projects and so many people in the community and businesses that have supported them, realizing that it's a great way to reach our youth and to reconnect parents and grandparents with their youth in a way to get them outside, get them out from playing video games and connect and do something in the outdoors. And so it's been a huge passion for me to be able to teach people and educate people to be able to do that safely, but also to help in our efforts for safe streets as well. So I've had the honor of representing Alabama the last 2 years in DC at Capitol Hill to advocate for safer streets throughout the entire state. And it's been an honor to have the Montgomery Bicycle Club, Jeff Feet, former president, who supported every time I came to an idea, and said, hey, this is what I'd like to do. He supported me for every single one and showed up many times at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to help set up bicycle rodeos and things like that. The local bike shops were huge in helping advocate for getting more women on bikes and letting me have women's nights at the bike shops. The local police department, the bike patrol officers, thank you so much for showing up for bicycle rodeos and helping us to educate the kids, and also for escorting us on rides like Ride of Silence so that we can remember people who have been struck or killed or injured while bicycling on our city streets, and to advocate for safer roads and to make this communication between our bike patrol, our police officers, and bicyclists and motorists alike, to get that education out there. Organizations like Gumption Fund, if it wasn't for Gumption Fund, I wouldn't have been able to put in the 9 different locations, which ended up being a total of 14 bike racks in the region. And it's important because if we have bike parking, then people have the option at least to choose a healthy option to see our city and have a safe place to lock up our bikes. But not only that, but for people that bicycling is or bicycles are their only source of transportation, that they can now have some place to safely lock their bike when they go to work. And that was very important, and I felt it was a need in our city as well. And so just to wrap up, that with all the efforts, so over the years, that resulted in 14 bike racks. We delivered over 2,000 books to Title I schools by bicycle for free to promote literacy and to promote fitness. 60 kids got to participate in bicycle rodeos and learn how to properly ride a bike and how to do that safely on city streets. 20 bicycles were given to students, new and used bicycles, so that they'd have a way to get outside and to get moving and be more active. And also this year, partnered with World Bicycle Relief and was able to earn the money to get 4 bicycles delivered to female African students in Africa to have a bicycle as a means for them to access education where they wouldn't otherwise be able to. So not only did we reach out as a community here in Montgomery and the River region, but also in faraway places too. And I don't want to forget just to say to my husband, Roger, thank you for showing up after a long day at the base and many times counting and sorting over thousands of books with me and showing up and writing and just being there whenever I needed you to and understanding how important this was to me too. So thanks everybody, appreciate it. Thank you.
As you can see, she deserves that recognition, and we will continue the tradition because bicycle numbers are significant in that they connote millennials and youth and fitness and things like that. The last thing that we'll have is I'm going to ask Chris Conway if he'll come. He has a brief presentation, although inclusive presentation, on some of the initiatives that have come out of council work sessions and resolutions, creating this neighborhood initiative and bringing all of those organizations that we already have doing things relative to our neighborhoods under one neighborhood services. So Chris, if you would make that presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor asked that I share a little bit about what's really not a new program, but it really represents a renewed focus on neighborhood services in the city of Montgomery. A couple of the big changes that I say are not new. 25 Washington, since most of the city services moved out there, has long been kind of that one-stop shop for city services. So we want to kind of change the name. It never did really get named anything but 25 Washington. So at this point in time, moving forward, we're going to be the 25 Center for City Services. That includes both neighborhood and business services, and basically anything a business or a neighborhood would need in the way of service will be housed at 25 Washington Avenue. With that, again, I'm not really changing anything other than I am the City Services Director. I've been known as the Public Works Director. Sometimes that's a little bit confusing. The City of Montgomery actually has a separate waterworks and sanitary sewer board, so that is not part of the suite of services that the City of Montgomery provides in this municipality. And a lot of times people kind of think that that's included. So the City Services Director will be traffic engineering, street maintenance, inspections, housing codes, all the things that you've come to expect with the Public Works Department, but it'll be city services in Montgomery. Underneath that umbrella, distressed property will have a renewed focus under the direction of Thomas Carr, who will be in charge of that initiative. We'll be moving Regina Berry Meadows into the Neighborhood Services Center at 25 on the 5th floor for better neighborhood organization coordination through her. She will be working part and parcel with our new Clean City Commission Director, Amanda Miller. And though she won't be reporting directly to Regina, they will be working in close coordination so that neighborhoods know what Clean City's doing and Clean City knows what Regina's doing in the bonds area. And then of course 311 is also housed in that area. It'll be on the 5th floor with Regina, and so the sharing of data and information will be right there in the same complex with a new 311 director, Sharon Smith, under the leadership of Delisha Ramos, who is in the engineering department. So to continue our neighborhood services focus, we meet bi-weekly, all the neighborhood services department that you saw listed there, and we've been meeting there for probably a little over a year and a half in what we call the neighborhood response team. And we do those meetings every Wednesday following city council meetings, and we talk about the issues and things that are kind of cross those lines between public safety and public service. So we talk about those things as a group and things that we can do. And so at the table will be Thomas Carr with our distressed property, will be Regina from our neighborhood services, will be Amanda Miller there from the Clean City Commission, will be our 311 personnel as well. So we'll all be able to meet there. And then also we want to develop a catalog and tools for evaluating the effectiveness of some of the neighborhood specific initiatives that we actually have ongoing today. So as we talked about, a specific renewed focus on distressed property under the leadership of Thomas Carr. Early on, he's going to develop a property inventory database that's going to give us a good idea of where we stand with housing stock in Montgomery. We expect that to happen over the first 6 months of operation. With that information, we hope to draft neighborhood-specific revitalization plans and specific initiatives that we can do. With this data that we will gather, we expect that to occur over the next year. And then, of course, develop a process for acquiring, holding, and disposing of distressed property, whether it be city-owned property, whether it be state tax sale property, whatever that may be, but get that into the hands of someone who can make productive use of that. Going along with that, just to give you some numbers, we definitely want to continue our efforts in the demolition category. Especially, we've had a pretty aggressive demolition program over the last couple of years. Last year we were able to demolish 160 properties. We expect to be able to demolish another 160 more this fiscal year. And if we stay on that pace and we stay with this aggressive program, it is very conceivable that there won't be any properties in need of demolition on our roll by the end of fiscal year 2019. So we're going to continue with that aggressive demolition program. Go ahead. Talking about neighborhood organization coordination under the leadership of Regina Berry Meadows. Obviously, we want to increase formal neighborhood association participation. If you live in a neighborhood that does not have a formal association, that's really your best way to bring issues to the forefront. And with that grouping and with that formal association comes power to come before this body and talk about the issues that affect you. We want to expand the service center capability, make it easier at 25 Washington to come and use her resource center that she has. And then, of course, she's going to act as a liaison for Clean City and 311 to disseminate knowledge and develop that knowledge base so that neighborhoods are very keenly aware of the initiatives that are going on in neighborhoods that they're concerned about in the neighborhoods around them. Go ahead. Obviously, working with the Clean City Commission, she's going to work very closely with the neighborhood coordinator on community-specific programs, making sure that when we have district cleanup months or when we have specific cleanup programs going on, that the neighborhoods are aware and that everyone can participate in those. And if they don't have one in their neighborhood, they can get with the Clean City Commission and get that scheduled and get that taken care of. And then, of course, we see a benefit that they can work. The Clean City Commission is made up of 3 appointments from the 9 council members, so conceivably 27 members of the Clean City Commission who are hands and feet out in the neighborhoods that know what their neighborhood's issues are and the condition of the properties in their neighborhoods. So we want to use that information to put in with the distressed property initiative and identify critical properties in neighborhoods so that we can take care of those. Okay, go ahead. And then, of course, 311, that's our one call to City Hall. We want to make sure that not only is it a place where you can call and request that work be done, but also if you just have general questions about specific things going on at the city or how do I get in touch with what's going on at the city, we want you to be able to do that in an easy way, whether it be on the phone, whether it be on the web, or whether it be coming to visit 25 Washington for yourself. So Again, they'll be working with our neighborhood coordinator, they'll be working with the distressed property coordinator, and then we'll be trying to expand open data, sharing requests for information and those sorts of things with the public. That's it. Any questions from the council? This information that I just showed, we can certainly put this presentation on there, no problem. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, let me just ask Mr. Conway. This is very encouraging. It is something that we've tried to advocate for, as you know, a number of years, and it's good to see that we are finally putting in the infrastructure to really make a difference, hopefully, in our neighborhoods. I wonder if there will be any effort to put emphasis on a more proactive enforcement of our housing codes laws, a more proactive approach to enforcing our litter laws. Will there be more resources made available to our housing codes department? Will there be a possible increase in personnel in the housing codes department? Will there be a difference in the way the housing codes department operates?
Certainly under the leadership of Thomas Carr, who's been our Chief Housing Codes Coordinator for the last several years and done a great job. We feel like with him taking this step outside and having someone backfill behind him, he will be able to have that look and see if those things are needed. Right now, we probably run about a 70-30 proactive versus reactionary effort on housing code issues as it is. So I think that it's not so much the reactionary or proactivity of it, but it still does take some time. It still is a 30-day process, and we hope with the Clean City Commission, with neighborhood associations being involved, that some of those times might be shortened, because the city is actually the last resort. That's the last line of defense for some of these things, and hopefully what we want to promote is that neighborhoods and citizens get directly involved and shorten that time frame, because they can go do it long before we can ever come out on the scene, just because of the way due process works. So he'll be taking a look at all of that, and I would say yes, there will be a renewed focus on those issues.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah. Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, we don't have anybody on the public communication agenda, so first item on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, Mr. President.
Yeah.
We need to do special committee reports.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. The ad hoc committee today met with Director Murphy and Chief Finley and members of the police department about police retention and recruiting options that they're looking at. Got some good information. The council is going to, Mr. President, we're going to have another committee meeting, Madam Clerk, November the 21st at 2 o'clock. We would like to invite, Mayor, what was her name?
Carmen Douglas.
Carmen Douglas,
HR
and the City County Personnel Board, along with members of the police department.
May I ask a question relative to the timing? That's the week of Thanksgiving. I'm assuming Tuesday we're not going to change the schedule at all. Good. If they have already committed to vacation or something like that, could we defer that?
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Any other committees?
Yes, sir, Mr. President, members of the council, and Mr. Mayor, the committee formed to look at issues of blight and, in particular, vacant and abandoned buildings also met in the old council chamber a couple of weeks ago. And I would first like to acknowledge the participation of the councilors from District 7, Mr. Lee and Mr. Green from District 6. I believe that they would agree that this is an issue whose time has come. And earlier this year, as we all know, the city contracted with a consultant to study the blight problem and to make recommendations as to how to combat this problem. And we have seen tonight a presentation that is taking critical steps forward to address some of those issues. As mentioned earlier, a large part of the charge for our committee was to investigate the possibility of passing an ordinance requiring regulation of rental properties in the city of Montgomery. But since that time, a review of existing city ordinances has revealed that we already have sufficient tools to address the issues associated with rental properties in the city's business license code. We simply need to develop and to adopt a procedure for enforcing that section of the city's code. And as a result of that discovery, we've decided not to pursue the enactment of a new ordinance that is designed specifically to focus on rental properties. Rather, we should enforce what we already have on the books, and the City Finance Department, which has the statutory authority to administer this law, has been tasked with finding a way to enforce the law. And we certainly hope that they do come forward within the next few weeks with some ideas on how to enforce that law. So the primary focus of our committee was on the vacant and abandoned buildings that litter our city, and there are many of them. They exist in every sector of the city, north, south, east, and west. It should be clear to all of us by now that for as long as the citizens of Montgomery are content to allow these buildings to clutter up the landscape without any questions being raised as to plans for future use, they will continue to sit vacant. They will continue to sit unused. They will continue to sit ugly, constituting a serious blight on the city of Montgomery. The intent is that the committee can agree on a fair, straightforward, no-nonsense strategy to encourage the owners of these properties to be responsible property owners and to work with the city to find productive uses for the buildings, to maintain those properties according to minimum code requirements, and to present plans to remove them in the interest of the public health, safety, and welfare of the people who choose to call the city home. So in conclusion, our first meeting of our ad hoc committee was a productive one. It was well attended by a lot of investors, lots of owners of rental properties, and interested citizens. We listened to the concerns of all of those who chose to offer them, and we invited additional input from them as we try to produce a set of rules that we can all live with and that enhances the quality of life for all Montgomeryans. So if there is no objection from the members of the committee, and I realize that Mr. Green is not here, I would like to get input from them on what would be another reasonable meeting date for them, at which time we will attempt to consider and to incorporate reasonable recommendations from the various interested parties, the committee members, the city staff, businessmen and women, and most importantly, the people of the city of Montgomery. And Mr. Lee, do you have any suggestions or recommendations as to when our next meeting can be?
Unlike Mr. Pruitt, I'd ask you not do it that week. I think I might be out of town the week of the 21st,
yes.
That Thanksgiving week. Besides that, any other time.
Okay. Any time other than the Thanksgiving week?
Yes.
All right. But the first week in December? We choose the first week in December, a date. Madam Clerk, do you have a calendar?
No, sir, I did not bring it.
All right. Well, we can do that.
The first meeting, the council meeting will be on the 5th if we want to do it before the council meeting.
Yes, sir, we can do it on the 4th, if that's good.
On the Monday?
Yes. December 4th?
Monday the 4th,
Monday, December 4th, at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. I'll get the notice out.
All right. All right.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, very good. Okay, first item, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, item 1, ordinance amending ordinance number 49-1993, designating Capitol Heights Historic District by adding several parcels.
Council, any motion on this item? I think we discussed it in the work session.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, as this is a part of the district that I represent, I'm proud to offer this ordinance in support of historic preservation and in support of one of our great historic neighborhoods, Capitol Heights. I offer the ordinance and offer for adoption.
Motion for
Need to
suspend the rules. All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Move to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Ordinance is adopted. Item 2, ordinance granting license to permit an existing wall extending over a portion of the right-of-way of West Lakes Place to remain in current location.
Need a motion to suspend the rules. Mr.
Motion to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Ordinance is adopted. Item 3, ordinance authorizing a cable franchise to Marcus Cable of Alabama LLC doing business as Charter Communications.
Motion to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Ordinance is adopted. Item 4, show cause hearing on the proposed finalization of revocation of the business license of Steve Chambers doing business as It'll Do Tavern at 557 Northeastern Boulevard.
Mickey?
This would be the public hearing. He still owes the city the money, sales taxes, and we've not heard from him.
Representative of the It'll Do Tavern here? Not here, okay. Need a motion to suspend the rules, Jim.
Move to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion approved.
Motion to adopt. All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. Item 6, resolution revoking business license of NV Ultra Lounge at 3439 McGee Road and authorizing show cause hearing.
Mr. President, this will be to authorize a show cause hearing for December the 5th at that council meeting.
Need a motion to suspend the rules, gentlemen.
Motion to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. 7, resolution revoking business license of Jackson's Auto Service Plus at 1508 South Decatur Street and authorizing show cause hearing.
This will be the same to set it for December 5th.
Okay, need a motion?
Motion to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. Item 8, application for a special retail more than 30 days liquor license doing business as ASU Student Center Ballroom at 1055 Tullabody Drive.
We need a motion. This is a public hearing. Yeah. Your name, sir?
Tyrone Sanders.
Okay, Mr. Sanders. This is a public hearing. Anyone like to speak against this item, please come forward. Seeing none, declare public hearing has been held. It's brought before the council. Need a motion?
Move to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Move to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted.
That takes care of the substitute?
Pardon?
That takes care of it. Okay.
Item 9, application for a special retail more than 30 days liquor license doing business as ASU Football Stadium at 1525 Harris Way.
This is also a public hearing. Anyone like to speak against this item, come forward. Seeing none, declare public hearing's been held. It's brought before the council. Need a motion?
Move to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Move to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted.
Good luck with your events.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk and the council, before we move into 10, I wanted to acknowledge a couple of people that's in the chamber that have something to do with our museum and commend them for the work that is being done in bringing this before the city council. Leslie Sanders is the president of that. Leslie was on board as we had to make the transition with Mark Johnson. The person that we tapped to bring on board was Ed Bridges, brought him out of retirement. He has done great service, and I just wanted to recognize them and commend them because the actions that you're fixing to take for some of these appointments are extremely important as we populate that board with reappointments and others so that we can continue to move forward because we are in the process of finding an executive director. It'd be my desire that we never find the executive director. Ed Bridges stays there for the future, but we know that not to be the case. But please, let's thank those two for their leadership. Stand up, guys.
That is a walking history book back there, and you need to beat the man.
Item 10, resolution reappointing Polly Hardigree to the museum board.
Yeah.
Motion to suspend the rules.
The rest of the agenda.
Each item.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. Item 11, resolution reappointing Lucy Martin Jackson to the Museum Board.
Move to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. 12, resolution reappointing Laurie Wheel to the Museum Board.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. 13, resolution appointing Susan Price to the Museum Board.
Move to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. Item 14, pursuant to Section 1153B1 Code of Alabama, authorization of demolition of unsafe structures at the 10 locations listed.
Need a motion to uphold.
Motion to uphold.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Item 15, resolution declaring public nuisances, authorizing immediate abatement and assessing cost of abatement of public nuisances on various lots.
Need a motion to adopt.
Move to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted.
Okay, Madam Clerk, you got several things you want to...
Yes, sir. We'll start with
Mr. President, I have one other item. I neglected to bring the copies to distribute among council members. A resolution reappointing Karen Campbell
We got it.
to the
You have
museum
that?
board.
Yes, sir.
Good. Clerk has it for you.
Resolution reappointing Karen Campbell to the Museum Board.
Need a motion to suspend the rules on this.
Move to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Move for adoption.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is
Karen Campbell.
adopted.
Okay. All right. What's
Mr.
the next one you
Bollinger,
got?
you want to go to Mr. Bollinger's next?
let's go
He's
to
got
Bollinger.
3. Okay. Resolution reappointing Christopher W. Conway to the Board of Trustees Retirement Fund.
Okay, need a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. Resolution reappointing Carol King to the Montgomery Historic Preservation Commission.
Motion to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. Resolution appointing George Chapman to the Water and Sewer Board.
Motion to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. And we have one for Councilor Bell. Resolution appointing Carrie Powell to Museum Board. And I did an editorial correction on the name.
Okay, need a motion to suspend the rules on this one.
Motion to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted.
Okay, anything else, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. I have contingency funds.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Blaylock,
Yes, sir.
can you read the ordinance that I'd given you early? The council has a copy of it.
Can I just read the synopsis?
Yes, ma'am,
Thank you.
because I wanted to introduce it.
Resolution authorizing the sales tax money collected in the PJ that's split between the town of Pike Road and Montgomery be put into an escrow account, giving the Montgomery Public Schools time and the ability to legally claim money that is owed to them.
Move to suspend the rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
5.
Okay.
I've
Carried
got
over.
5 yeses and 2 nos. So that one's carried over. Now I have contingency funds for you. I have some that I have given to you, some that have been added. For District 4, $1,000 to West Montgomery Renaissance Neighborhood Association, $1,000 to Western Hills Neighborhood Association, $1,000 to Memorial Heights Neighborhood Association, $1,000 to Goodwin Middle School Parenting Center, District 8, $1,000 to Bell Station Neighborhood Association, $1,000 to Carriage Hill Neighborhood Association, $1,000 to Taylor Lakes Neighborhood Associations. You do not have copies of these, but the mayor has approved them. It's for District 2, $1,000 to Morning View Neighborhood Association, $1,000 to Dalreda Neighborhood Association, $1,000 to Deerfield Neighborhood Association, $1,000 to the Timbers Neighborhood Association. For District 6, $700 to Macedonia Neighborhood Association, $700 to Post, $1,000 to Montgomery Improvement Association Foundation, $700 to Manna Ministries, $1,500 to McKee Middle School for the band, $500 to American Association for Children, $500 to New Beginnings Ministry Incorporated. And Mayor, I have a list for District 3 that you have not seen, but I have checked and we have paperwork on all of these. It's $1,000 to Chisholm Improvement Association, $500 to Bell's Essential Living Services, $500 to Brookview Neighborhood Association, $500 to Park Manor Neighborhood Association, and $1,000 to AmeriCare Financial Group.
And Madam Clerk, I would like to add one.
Just a second, I need the mayor's approval on these last ones that I read.
Yes, well, thank you very much.
Okay, now.
It's the Alabama State University, and I'm not quite sure how this one should be done, but the Alabama State University 5K Freedom Run Walk in support of Veterans Day this coming Saturday, $500.
Do they have we have several 501c3s. Can you find out for me which one it's going to be?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, if you'll just let me know. Is that it?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I hope you noticed I did get some of mine in, but I do have to add one or two.
I can't imagine why.
Madam Clerk, I wanted to change that one to 500. That very first one, I can't, Bell Station, instead of 1,000.
Change it to 500
Yes,
rather
ma'am.
than 1,000.
Yes, ma'am. And also need 1,000 to Taylor Lakes Neighborhood Association.
You have Taylor Lakes on here.
Oh, then I'm good. Just change
Okay,
that.
just 500, change the 1,000 to 500 and nothing else.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Wow, Mr. President, I did get them in there.
Good for
And
you.
added. Yes, sir.
Much better.
Is that it?
Anybody got anything else? Need a motion to adopt these?
Move to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Okay. In our public communications of non-agenda items,